The C-17 Loadmaster is the backbone of aerial supply, but one mistake here spells disaster.
Today, we are simulating a heavy drop, 3 Humvees rigged for high-altitude tactical insertion. Gravity is the enemy. If these vehicles aren't secured perfectly, the G-force will rip them apart. This honeycomb cardboard is the only thing standing between a safe landing and total destruction.
The flight deck prepares for takeoff, calculating wind drift to ensure the payload hits the target.
With the cargo locked, the massive bird taxis to the runway, carrying tons of lethal steel.
Physics dictates that what goes up must come down. But today, physics will be unforgiving.
In transit, the Loadmaster is the guardian of the cargo, constantly checking for shifting loads.
A drogue chute deploys first, pulling the main parachutes, which must inflate in perfect sequence.
Speed is critical. Too fast, and the chutes rip. Too slow, and the plane stalls. The ramp opens. The calm interior is instantly replaced by a chaotic hurricane of wind and noise.
Humvee 1 is cleared. The extraction chute catches the wind, pulling with tremendous force.
A perfect exit. The static line triggers the deployment bag, and the chutes bloom open.
This is how it's supposed to work. A controlled descent delivering heavy armor to the battlefield.
Load 2 ready!
Confidence is high, but complacency is the killer. The second vehicle is staged.
The drogue chute catches air. Thousands of pounds of steel begin to slide toward the void. It clears the ramp, but the angle is slightly off. The rigging takes a heavy shock.
Despite the rough exit, the rigging holds. 2 down, 1 to go. Here comes the heavy metal!
On the ground, recovery teams wait. They have no idea they are about to film a disaster.
The final vehicle. The riggers checked it 3 times, but metal fatigue is invisible.
The extraction force is violent. It pulls a 6,000-pound truck from 0 to 150 knots instantly.
Green light on. The final load is released. The nightmare begins now.
It leaves the plane. For a split second, everything looks normal.
Snap! The primary riser fails. The load becomes unbalanced instantly.
Oh no!
From the ramp, the crew watches helplessly. The vehicle is slipping free of its chutes.
Terminal velocity. The Humvee is now a 3-ton bomb falling at 120 miles per hour.
It's burning in! Watch out!
The ground crew realizes the chutes have failed. There is nothing to slow it down. Impact. The kinetic energy obliterates the chassis instantly upon contact with the Earth. What was once a tactical vehicle is now scrap metal. But the disaster isn't over.
Did you see that?
Shock turns to disbelief. But look up. Another vehicle is already in trouble.
The chaos in the air current affects the second load. The parachutes are twisting.
When risers twist, the canopy collapses. It turns into a streamer, offering 0 lift.
Look out below!
History repeats itself within seconds. The second Humvee breaks free and dives.
Another one! The drop zone is no longer safe. It's a rain of heavy armor.
A second thunderous impact. $200,000 of taxpayer equipment vanishes in a cloud of dust.
Aboard! Aboard! Aboard!
Loads OETs are burning in.
For a Loadmaster, this is the worst nightmare.
Was it the rigging, the wind, or sabotage?
The investigation begins immediately. How do 3 separate failsafes fail simultaneously?
We must look at the energy dissipation systems. If the rigging holds, the landing kills the truck.
Reviewing the footage, investigators found a crucial error in the lashings.
Old equipment. These straps had been used one too many times, weakening under UV light.
But it wasn't just the straps. Sudden wind shear put double the load on the parachutes.
The incident became famous, not because of the loss, but because the world watched it happen.
The laughter on the tape resulted in disciplinary action. Professionalism is expected, even in disaster.
Protocols changed. Double redundancy riggings are now standard for all heavy drops.
Listen up. Experience is a brutal teacher. We learn the hardest lessons from the smoking craters.
Since that day, thousands of drops have gone perfectly. The system works when respected.
The C-17 remains the king of the sky, carrying the weight of war on its wings.
For more analysis on military tactical failures and triumphs, subscribe to Tactical Command. To understand the failure, we must calculate the kinetic energy. Mass times velocity squared is unforgiving. Upon extraction, the rear shackles endure momentary G-forces exceeding 4 times the vehicle's weight. The Type Vive platform is the unsung hero. It must slide freely, yet hold tons of armor secure.
A single weak point in the nylon riser creates a catastrophic chain reaction instantly.
We have come a long way since World War II, where equipment loss was simply expected.
Modern accuracy is usually pinpoint, utilizing GPS-guided parachutes for high-altitude drops.
The JPAS system allows drops from 25,000 feet, steering cargo autonomously to the target.
In a gravity drop, we tilt the plane. In extraction, a chute rips the load out.
Pitching the nose up uses gravity. It's gentler, but requires dangerous low-speed handling by pilots.
Stall!
If the load gets stuck halfway, the center of gravity shifts, potentially crashing the plane.
History teaches us blood-soaked lessons. A stuck load is a pilot's worst nightmare.
That is why Loadmasters carry razor-sharp knives. To cut the load free before it kills everyone.
These locks hold 40,000 pounds. If they fail to release, the extraction chute becomes an anchor.
An anchor in the sky. The drag can slow the jet to stall speed in seconds.
Let's return to the cardboard. It looks like packing material, but it's an engineering marvel.
It crushes at a precise rate, absorbing the G-force that would otherwise snap the vehicle's axles.
Check 1, check 2. Too little cardboard, the axle snaps. Too much, the vehicle bounces and flips over.
We even dropped tanks. The M551 Sheridan was designed specifically to be thrown out of airplanes. The Soviets took a different approach, using retro rockets to slow the tank just before impact. Retro rockets are complex but effective. The US prefers the reliability of honeycomb and airbags.
But there is a method more violent and dangerous than high-altitude drops. LAPES.
Low-altitude parachute extraction system.
Flying 5 feet off the ground at 130 knots. There is zero margin for pilot error.
The chute deploys, ripping the heavy pallet out the back door like a tablecloth trick.
The load hits the ground, moving at flight speed. skidding to a halt on friction alone.
Easy, easy. When the weight leaves, the plane wants to pitch down into the dirt. The pilot must pull up instantly.
It is a violent ballet, used for delivering supplies where landing is impossible and parachutes are too visible. But when LAPIS goes wrong, the kinetic energy tears everything apart.
Because of the danger to airframes and cargo, LAPIS is rarely used today.
Back to basics.
We return to the vertical drop. Safer, higher, but complex in its own right.
Using a cluster of 3 chutes increases stability, but introduces the risk of entanglement.
Synchronicity is key. If they don't inflate together, the shock load can snap the risers.
Reefing lines keep the chute partially closed initially to prevent exploding from air pressure.
It's a 2-stage braking system. Slow the fall, then stop the fall.
If the reefing line fails to cut, the chute remains a squid, offering no drag. Any questions?
A streamer is a death sentence for the cargo. Impact is at terminal velocity.
The rigging packing room. A sterile environment where a single fold can determine the mission's fate.
Riggers work in silence. Their signature on the logbook is a promise of perfection.
Compressed to the density of wood, the chute must explode outward freely in split seconds. As night falls, the risks increase. Night drops rely entirely on instrumentation and trust. Under red lights, depth perception is skewed. The Loadmaster must rely on muscle memory. Green phosphor screens are the only window to the outside world during a clandestine night drop. The load vanishes into the abyss. We won't know if it survived until the ground team radios in.
Visual on package.
Silence on the radio is agonizing. Finally, the confirmation code comes through.
Thermal imaging confirms the arrival. The engine block is still warm from the flight.
Ramp up. Pressure stabilizing. Another delivery completed in the cover of darkness.
But cargo is replaceable. What happens when the payload is human?
Look up! Static line jumps! A conveyor belt of soldiers stepping into the void! Stand in the door! The jump master controls the flow. A mistake here doesn't break an axle. It costs a life. Go!
The green light flashes. The fear is suppressed by training. One by one, they disappear.
A mass tactical jump fills the sky. But unlike Humvees, soldiers have a backup plan.
Check canopy!
The T-11 parachute deploys. The soldier must visually inspect the silk for tears or twists immediately.
If the main fails, they have seconds to pull the reserve. Cargo gets no second chance. But the most terrifying malfunction isn't falling too fast, it's not falling at all.
The tow jumper. Snagged on the exit, the soldier is dragged behind the jet at 150 miles per hour. The slipstream beats them against the fuselage. It is a life or death emergency for the crew.
Top drop! Tow jumper!
The jump is halted. The Loadmaster has two choices. Winch him in or cut him loose.
Winching is preferred, but pulling a human against 150-knot winds requires immense mechanical force.
Slowing to 110.
The pilot slows the bird down. Every knot of speed reduction saves the jumper from battering.
Got him!
Retrieval is exhausting. The jumper is often unconscious from the wind force and impact.
If the winch jams, the Loadmaster must cut the line. The jumper falls free.
Fall! Fall!
Cut loose. They are now in free fall with a shredded static line. They must pull the reserve. The reserve chute is the final barrier between life and death. Usually, it works.
He's good, he's good!
On the ground, the relief is palpable. A tow jumper scenario is the crew's worst fear.
Humans are soft, but equipment is heavy. Let's return to why the Humvees disintegrated.
A human falls at 120 miles per hour. A Humvee, denser and streamlined, can hit 150 miles per hour or more.
The chassis is aluminum, designed for weight, not for dropping from the heavens without a parachute.
Suspension systems absorb bumps, not meteoric impacts. The energy simply obliterates the frame.
Recovering the debris is a somber task. It's a puzzle of thousands of shattered pieces.
The wreckage is hauled away. The taxpayer bill for this single day was over $500,000.
An accident investigation board was convened. Was it negligence or a systemic failure?
The metal shackles didn't fail due to rust. They failed due to shock loading.
Shock loading occurs when force is applied instantly. It multiplies the weight effectively by 10.
The chutes had been packed months prior. Old parachutes can sometimes stick together, delaying opening.
Every chute has a paper trail. Investigators trace the packing back to a specific date.
The crew was cleared of wrongdoing. They followed procedure. The failure was in the rigging materials.
The Army issued an immediate safety bulletin. All old straps were to be destroyed and replaced.
Thousands of straps were shredded. A costly but necessary purge to ensure safety. Humvees are standard. But the military has dropped much stranger things from the sky.
We drop boats for Navy SEALs, the Maritime Craft Aerial Delivery System.
Water impact is hard as concrete. The rigging must release instantly, or the chute will drag the boat under.
We drop bulldozers and graders to build runways in the middle of nowhere.
You wouldn't believe it! Loadmasters have seen it all, from frozen blood supplies to live animals in crates.
In the past, we even dropped mules, though today we prefer robotic dogs or ATVs. The noblest mission is humanitarian aid. Food and water delivered where trucks cannot go. These drops don't use heavy pallets. They scatter like seeds to cover a wide area for refugees.
Packages away! For the crew, these missions are the best. No explosions, just saving lives.
But what is the future? How do we prevent the next Humvee disaster? Reusable airbags are being tested. They replace the crusher honeycomb, saving money and time.
Autonomous gliders. Silent, unmanned, and capable of landing with pinpoint accuracy.
Augmented reality will help pilots align perfectly with the wind, eliminating human error.
Smart textiles. Rigging straps that change color when they are too worn to be safe.
Automation. Robots that pack parachutes with mathematical precision, removing the bad day factor.
Technology advances, but the C-17 remains the workhorse. It lands, ready for the next load.
The crew walks away. The Humvee disaster is a memory, a lesson learned in the logbooks.
The mission never stops. Somewhere in the world, a C-17 is opening its ramp right now.
Global reach. The ability to drop a tank anywhere on Earth in 18 hours is a superpower.
It is a capability that defines modern power. Logistics wins wars.
So next time you see a supply drop, remember the physics, the risks, and the rigors. Next time, what happens when a nuclear submarine has to surface instantly?
click to subscribe.
The GBU-43, 21,000 pounds of high explosive, dropped not from a bomber, but a cargo ramp.
It exits just like a Humvee, but once it clears the ramp, the pallet separates.
The pallet falls away. Grid fins snap open. The cargo becomes a guided missile.
A standard airdrop delivers supplies. This airdrop delivers a shockwave spanning a mile.
For the crew, the procedure is identical, but the psychological weight of the cargo is heavier.
From destruction to exploration. The C-17 is also the lifeline for the space program.
Check clearance!
NASA tests parachute re-entry systems by dropping mock capsules from 35,000 feet.
Capsule is away!
It's an awkward shape. The cone wants to tumble. The drogue chutes must stabilize it instantly.
Test failed!
If these chutes fail, astronauts die. The C-17 crew is part of the safety chain for spaceflight.
In the 1970s, the Air Force tried something insane, dropping an ICBM from a plane.
Operation Looker, a Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missile launched mid-air from a cargo bay. The missile falls backward. For a terrifying moment, it looks like a failed drop.
Then, ignition. The falling object becomes a soaring nuclear weapon, the ultimate heavy drop.
Crazy times. We don't do that anymore. The risk of a rocket igniting inside the fuselage is too high.
From fire to ice, the C-17 is the only lifeline for scientists at the South Pole.
Landing on ice. There are no brakes. The pilots rely entirely on reverse thrust to stop.
If the plane stops too long, the hot tires melt the ice, freezing the jet to the ground.
In winter, planes can't land. We drop supplies into the eternal night to keep the station alive.
Green light. Fresh fruit. Spare parts. For the isolated crew, seeing a parachute is like seeing Santa Claus.
We have discussed weapons, vehicles, and supplies. But the C-17 carries one other payload.
The Angel Flight, bringing fallen service members home. This is the dignified transfer.
No Loadmaster checks this cargo for G-force. They check it for honor. The uniform is perfect.
They never leave the fallen alone. A watch is kept for the entire flight across the ocean. Dover Air Force Base, the destination for the fallen. The landing is gentle, the taxi slow.
Present arms! The ramp opens, not to the chaos of a drop zone, but to the silence of respect.
This is why the rigging matters. This is why the training is brutal. Because everything matters.
The Humvee drop was a failure of physics. This mission is a triumph of duty.
From disaster relief to combat drops, the C-17 Loadmaster does it all.
The bay is empty again. The Loadmaster's job is done. Until the phone rings tomorrow.
We laughed at the crushing Humvee. But now you know the complexity behind that failure.
It wasn't just gravity. It was a chain of engineering decisions, risks, and physics. These machines are the backbone of global logistics. They require perfection to fly.
Good flight.
It's a partnership. The pilot flies the crate, the Loadmaster owns what's inside it.
So the next time you hear the roar of 4 engines overhead, look up.
There are men and women up there, defying gravity, trusting a few millimeters of nylon.
And usually, the cargo gets there, ready to fight, ready to save lives.
While the C-5 is bigger and the C-130 is more common, the C-17 is the perfect balance. A web of logistics that allows the U.S. military to be anywhere, anytime.
You are watching Tactical Command, the home of military engineering analysis.
Bonus fact, a single C-17 costs over $200 million. It is a national treasure.
It carries enough fuel to fill 2,000 family cars. The thirst of these engines is legendary.
It can land on a dirt strip just 3,500 feet long. That's shorter than some commercial runways.
The plane rarely sleeps. Crews rotate, but the airframe keeps flying. A salute to the maintainers. Without them, these drops would be impossible. Viewer question: can a sudden climb snap the cargo straps? Absolutely. A 2G climb doubles the weight of the cargo. The straps are rated for 3G.
Can we drop the M1 Abrams tank?
The M1 is 70 tons. The C-17 can carry it, but it cannot airdrop it. It's too heavy for chutes.
The future isn't tanks, it's swarms. Rapid Dragon pallets deploying cruise missiles.
Rapid Dragon, turning a cargo plane into a bomber without modifying the plane.
This is the new reality. The C-17 is no longer just a truck. It's a weapons platform.
The job evolves. The Loadmaster must now understand ballistics as well as weight and balance.
Check.
It takes a village to fly a fortress. Pilot, co-pilot, Loadmaster, crew chief.
Approaching minimums 50, 40, 3rd, 20, 10.
Three trucks lost, a million lessons learned, and a video that captivated the world.
If you learned something today, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm find more tactical minds.
Comment below. Would you trust a parachute packed by a robot? Let us know.
A huge thank you to our Patreon supporters who make these deep dives possible. Check out this video on the A-10 Warthog and why it refuses to retire.
What happens when a submarine breaches the surface at full speed?
From the flight deck to the cargo bay, this is Tactical Command, signing off.
Whoops. Oh. We are approaching, where are we? Cut.